in church, pastor preaches, then now the choir started to sing. In that moment when the choir started to sing, I mean, I heard choirs before, but I feel that was a moment that God had an encounter. I had an encounter with God. Because what happened is now, in that moment is actually when I also knew the divide between mind, body, and spirit. Before, obviously, with a scientific mind, you're just thinking, oh, it's, you know, there's no soul, there's no spirit, there's no, you know, it's mind.
It's all mind.
It's mind and body.
Yeah.
But how I knew there's a separation now, what happened is I started weeping. Now, weeping like, my body started weeping, like crazy weeping. Like I couldn't control it. Now, it was the kind of music that was being sung was very chilled. You know, they were playing the violin. I remember the violin. It was very chilled. The church was quiet, and there I was weeping. Now I was embarrassed, you know, because I was weeping like funeral kind of weeping, you know. So now the thing is that while I was weeping, there was no reason for me to weep. Absolutely no reason for me to weep. My mind was calm. There was no reason why. I didn't understand why my body is not responding to the condition of my mind. I had no reason to weep or to cry, whatever. And I was witnessing my body weeping.
I was going to say that you were seeing yourself weeping.
Yeah.
And this understanding, having this 360 thinking.
Exactly. So I was very embarrassed, and I got up. And I walked out of the church. And Mandiva also came along and said, what's wrong? So I said, you know what, I have no idea what just happened in there. And I was scared. I was very scared. I was like, no. Because then I was a student of science. I was like, So actually I told him, you know what, I'm not going back in the church. And we can make the deal on the 3 visits to churches, but as long as we don't come to this church, because that experience for me was just like, no, you know what, no. So he said, okay, but do you mind if I go back into church and finish church? And then, so I said, go. He gave me the keys to his car. I sat in the car. All church finished, and he found me in the car.
So when you're in the car, what are you thinking? Is it now messing up your...
I'm confused because I'm thinking like, how? I thought my body receives instructions from my brain. But I was thinking, how? Why?
What just happened?
What just happened, yeah. So I was sort of scared. I mean, I thought of everything, you know, when you're just thinking, I thought, okay. Because, you know, the scientific mind is more, you know, action, reaction. So like, why did I react this way? What action before? Did I eat something funny? Or did I take some, you know, what happened? You know, even starting to think paranoid, like, maybe someone spiked a drink, you know, because you are thinking it has happened and you have to reason why. You know? So, I mean, I was just all over the place. Yeah. So he came and we made that deal. I said, no, like, I don't mind going to church 3 times, but this church, no, like, I really didn't like what happened. You know, I really didn't like it. And I was embarrassed. I was very embarrassed as on top of it. I was very embarrassed because...
My decorum, what kind of...
You know, because I was thinking everyone in that church was probably thinking, hey, this guy's got problems. You know, like, hey, this guy, let's pray for that kid. Let's pray for that young gentleman who just walked out of church. I was thinking, hey. And as an introvert, that's like the worst thing that can happen, yeah. So, said, Mandiva was calm. He said, no, next week we'll go to another church. Next week, go to another church. As we were walking into church, I didn't even sit down. Same thing happens again. This time I was actually with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah,
I was dating. Same thing happened. Before I even sit down, walk out again. I remember I went with my girlfriend at the time, and I went with a couple of friends of mine. So walked out. For them, it was the kind of weeping which you get worried. It's not like, you get worried, like, hey, okay, what's going on? You know?
As you were walking in,
we're just walking in to try and find my seat.
A new church.
Walking in, try and find my seat. again.
Yeah, that would
Exactly. With no swag. You know, whipping has no swag. There's no swag with whipping because you don't know what liquids will come out from where. No, it was just crazy. So now I go
And
out,
now you're with people.
I'm with people who you won't want to see
Yes, this
them
is what-
see you.
Uh-huh.
And my girlfriend at the time never ever saw me cry. My friends, you know, as men, you know, we just have
Yeah.
these, you know, yeah. So walk out. Now outside now, it's like now I'm a victim now. It's like, oh, you know, I'm the ex at the time saying, no, you see, you keep stuff inside. Now giving me a therapy, you know. You should be sharing things, you know, don't bottle up things, you know, because this is what happens, you explode. So at the time, just think, what's this, you know?
And it's and it's the same experience. Outer body, you're seeing yourself weeping. You're embarrassed in the. You're looking at your body. You're going crying. You're seeing the liquids coming out.
Yeah. So, I mean, so now I had to add reason to what I was doing. So, because my friend was saying like, "What's wrong? What's wrong, bro?" So I remember at the time I just lied. I said, you know what? There's a call I got. Like, there's an auntie back home. It's family stuff. I can't share. But yeah, there's some family stuff going on. You know, so I can't really share, but yeah, like just keep me, just keep me in prayer. But inside I knew, Mandiva knew though.
Yeah,
Mandiva knew. So I'm sure I was even laughing the whole time inside. But I had to give a reason to, because actually what's funny is that you know, there when you're with you know, the kind of friends you have, you know, reputation is like everything. You know what I mean?
At that age especially.
At that age especially. Yeah. So I remember even like, initially I started by saying like, no, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. So when my friend, in trying to make the situation a bit light, like trying to make us laugh, is like, so like when you're bored sometimes you just like cry. Like, is it like a hobby? Like, is it just, you know, like you just squeeze it in there? Like, you just so I knew if I don't answer this, there'll be problems.
Guys.
So yeah, did that, but then from that point I knew that's how now I started reading the word. So I went. And another thing I think I left out, actually, before I met Mandiva, I went through a year when I began to, the concept of God, I was fascinated, like, why does every civilization everywhere, even in the remotest village, why do they always want to have a concept of a greater power that they want to worship? As in, I was fascinated by that, like, who gave humanity this concept that you need to worship some? Because I was thinking from the Aztecs to whatever, there is no tribe anywhere or whatever civilization. I would say even the idea of not having God is I think it's a very new idea in our history of humanity. So I was just fascinated, like, what this concept of God, like, where does it come from? Why? So I started searching and studying different religions. So I studied Islam, I studied Scientology. I actually attended one of the Scientology sessions. I was studying Egyptology at the time and understanding what that is about. And in looking actually at religions, I didn't consider Christianity. That's how bad it was. I said, I'll research this one, but Christianity, I already know this one is fake. This one, like, that was how I was thinking. So I didn't do it. Yeah. So I feel God in that thing was trying to.
But also, there's a verse that says, and this one, I wish it's quoted more, because everybody quotes Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, plans for good and not for evil, plans to give you a future. But people don't go further.
Exactly.
To quote Jeremiah 29:13, which says, "You will seek and find me when you seek me with all your heart." So you, in your search is seeking. You know, you're trying to get answers.
And that's why I feel God found me. So like even right now, even when I speak to an atheist or anyone, I say, you know what? Believe what you. I'm not gonna. I don't think it's even good to force, like, you know. Try to, just as long as you're searching, just continue to search. Just be in that posture where you are searching for God or for purpose, whatever.
Or for no God.
Or for no God.
Yeah,
but
you just search.
Question everything. Look at all the, you know, and just search, you know. Because for me, I thought from my experience that search, I feel that's why I had the encounter I had, because I feel that God recognized that this boy is on a search, and I need to
find him.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what happened. Then from there I started reading the word. I just went on a study.
So now wait. So this second experience happens. What do you tell Mandiva? Or this time you're even embarrassed. You're like, because it's the second time.
Mandiva is quiet. Mandiva is he's you know, he's just quiet. He's not necessarily even responding to. He's not surprised. I'm surprised, but and for me that's why I found it weird. I think I even looked at him suspicious, because I was thinking, this guy now, look at this is what's happening. He's not even like, you know, responding. But later on I knew why, because later on, obviously, we'll get there.
So, but at this time now, when this second instance has happened, this one has happened, your girlfriend, your friends are there.
Yeah.
Now this one, you know, okay, this is a repeat. It's no longer the church building.
Yeah.
It's this church thing. There's something. Let me find out about this Christianity thing.
So I started to read the word.
So you already had a Bible, or you got a Bible?
I had a Bible. Yeah. So started to read the word. And I read, I would be honest, I read the word. I didn't want to watch sermons. I didn't want to get born again from the perspective of it. I thought, okay, if God has written a book and this is to communicate to me, I want to hear it directly from him. I don't want to hear someone's perspective of what they feel God is or whatever. So I just started reading on my own with no reference of, you know, And that was good, because at the time, the orthodoxy of the teaching of the word was actually, in a lot of churches here that I encountered, was the law. Grace wasn't part of the picture. And that perspective, if that stayed the case, I wouldn't be a Christian, because the law, I mean, come on. Who's going to, you know,
do's and don'ts.
Who's going to live a clean life? I mean, that's the whole perspective. There's only one who did it, and that's Jesus. But yeah, from there, read the word, and I on my own in my room, I gave my life to Christ.
In this period?
In this period, yeah.
Like, what is it that changed you? Grace, Jesus.
When I understood.
Had you heard of Jesus before?
I heard of Jesus before, but I even failed to understand how the story of Jesus was told to justify the law. Now, it's funny. I can't register now how
you don't be understanding it before.
Yeah, or how it was ever a perspective that how the law was sort of glorified, or, you know, or that as a Christian you have to, you know, live by the law. Of course, we are encouraged to do that.
Yeah.
But the Bible puts it that no, if you say that you are without sin, it actually says you are foolish. You know. So just that acceptance that humans will be humans. Humans are flawed. You know, and that the whole point of Jesus dying is to that sacrifice, which was you can't presenting yourself as a living sacrifice to God. You are unclean. Whoever you are, pastor, bishop, major, 1, 2, 3, apostle, doesn't matter. That Jesus is the one who takes your place. That's what makes you, you know. So when I understood that, and when I started to read about characters in the Bible, you know, like, these characters are actually so dramatic. I'm even less dramatic than these characters, and God loved these people. You know, I started to read about people like David. Like, David, this guy took someone's wife, you know, and killed the hubby. You know, the hubby, you know. And I'm like, how does God now say this is, you know, somebody who I love, or is dear to my heart, you know, and all those concepts. But then I realized that, look, when I understood the idea, the concept of grace, and that, Jesus is when I said that, okay, I now understand that. When I got the revelation of grace is when I gave my life.
How long of a period was this before the second experience?
I would say 6 months.
So you didn't go to church again for the third time?
I didn't. No, I went to church for the third time, but that one there was no. It was just
to pay the debt.
It was normal to pay the debt.
Yes. Yeah. To be like, and did you start going after that?
No.
So after you did the 3 times with Mandiva,
I stopped and I just started. It gave me the curiosity to read the word.
Oh, so the second time was a life-changing one. The second one is now what forced you to be like, let me read the word. The second time you had the weeping session. Exactly,
because first time I started to create answers. Because at the time, the lifestyle, I was thinking, okay, I went out yesterday. So maybe when I went out,
there's this drink that I had.
There's, something. So
you were drinking at the time.
I began to add reason to that. So I know if it was left there, it would be like, okay, that's the reason, and I would have moved on with life. But now for it to happen the second time, I'm like,
okay.
Now I know, okay, it's not this, I didn't drink last night, and why is it only happening while I'm in church? Yeah. Why isn't it happening, somewhere else?
Okay, I get it. Yeah. Hey, I'm loving this story. Okay, so you go through this period, you give your life to Christ.
Yeah.
At this time, your lifestyle is different. Are you living with your girlfriend?
No, I wasn't living with my girlfriend.
In your introvert self, wanted your space.
No, but yeah, I didn't live with her, but because in the university, so they used to live on campus, and my girlfriend at the time lived on campus, and I lived close by off campus.
Okay, so when you give your life to Christ, continue the story. I want to hear what happens. Because the record deal is still there.
So now I give my life to Christ while I'm in the record deal. Now the artist they signed is not a gospel artist. So now when I was recording and I started recording the songs, I would go back to studio and say, look, I want to change this verse. Because that verse had something maybe that I didn't think is. Now I began to change everything, and now obviously my label started to notice, because I didn't share that, I'm born again now, and so my label started to notice that, and when you're with your other artists, your other friends, in the studio, he would suggest, after this line, put this line, and you're like, hey, that line, no. But before, it was like a collaborative work where I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea, So they noticed that there's something. So my boss sat me down and just told me, hey, what's going on? So I said, you know what, I'm born again now. Yeah. So funny enough, I thought that because of the amount of money we had spent and all the work and the investment that was made, I thought that because of that it would be something that they would be angry about. Look, we've spent time, we've spent. But yeah, just said, you know what, the last thing we would want us to do is to come between you and God. So if you don't want to do it, feel free, have a free conscience. It's fine, we can drop everything now. And yeah, so that from there, that's how I decided to. That's how the deal ended after that meeting. And yeah,
and are you in Nigeria at the time?
No, I was in South Africa.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you do also recordings at South Africa?
They were based in South Africa.
Oh, yes.
And Nigeria, yeah. So that's how.
Who were some of your label mates at the time? Did any of them get to blow?
No. Okay. There's one group that blew, but they broke up, so that it sort of affected the way. Okay. There was a group called Pin Code. So they were doing very well.
So now you get born again. What about? And you're all in.
Pardon?
You're all in. This Jesus thing is you're all in.
All in, with the zeal, I always look back at that zeal and I think hey, wow, I wish. With the zeal now, because of my perspective and because I interpreted the scripture for myself and I had my own, I don't know if you can say theology. I don't know how you can term it, but I had my own relationship with God.
Revelation of the word.
Revelation of the word, yeah. So when I came back, I guess I was very strange to the Christian community because I first thing that I wanted to do. So I've missed out a certain element of my life. Earlier, here while I was here, like in the high school days, I used to host parties. So I used to hire nightclubs with a couple of friends of mine, and we used to host big parties. So that party environment didn't intimidate me. In fact, I think I was even passionate about getting people drunk. Like it was, I thought it was therapy for them. Like I'm helping them. You know, to see that introvert who's shy, you know, have a few and then stand on a table and dance. I'd be like, yeah, I'm working. Yeah. This is what
I'm doing the work.
Yeah. So from that environment, I sort of felt that I want to, because of that, the guilt of having, you know, done that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I sort of felt like I need to go back to that place and share this Jesus and this revelation that I've just gotten with all these people. In excitement, you know, like no permission from anyone, you know. So I just started going into clubs.
And have you told guys you're born again?
Everybody, I've told people, but the ones who are close to me know.
Oh, no, what I mean, the public doesn't know. Because they still remember you as this big artist.
The public really doesn't. Yeah, I wouldn't say the public really knows at the time, because I recorded a song called Nipempela at the time, which was like that song was a symbol that, okay, that was my first, that song was like, okay, I've gone gospel now. And
Nimupasani mendo, munione se moendela. Nimupasani manza, munione se mogwilila. Wamenenezo endela, kwenze kwa masobela. Nisukile ni mutima, nipempela. Why am I here? It was not clear. Can't concentrate as the crowd cheers. Couldn't even notice my mama's tears. You be thinking everything's so good right now. Let me tell you about the perfect truth I found. Let me introduce him to you, my child. When the fame and the glory fades, he will remain. Yeah. Nimupasani mendo, munione se moendela. Nimupasani manda, munione se mogwilila. Wamenenezo endela, kwenze kwa masobela. Nisukile ni mutima, nipempela. Nimupasani mendo, munione se moendela. Nimupasani manda, munione se mogwilila. Wamenenezo endela, kwenze kwa masobela. Nisukile ni mutima, nipempela. Words that you speak never die away.
Before that, okay, even before going gospel, had you recorded other videos apart from? Remember, they've only talked about one video that you've done. You've done the video.
Oh yeah,
Bring the Bass.
After Bring the Bass, actually, when I came back, I did a song called Blase.
Yes.
With Slap D.
Yeah, Slap D.
I did a song with it, which also, like, that's for Zambia, because obviously now, when I got that channel, Oh Young Gifted and African, and that happened, a lot of Zambians were confused whether I'm a Zambian, whether I'm a Nigerian. Yeah, so I decided, no, I'm gonna do. Slap D was the biggest artist here, so I decided I'm come back home and let me do a song with Slap D.
Blase.
Blase.
Like.
No, Blase is.
Busy. No, it's not busy. Blase.
No.
Blase.
Blase is like. Blase is like when you. It's. How can I describe it? It's a word I was fascinated by because I just thought it was. Blase is like when you are calm, like when you are calm and you know you are like in control, like you are so, like when someone says you are so blasé about the situation, like everyone is panicking.
Oh, you're
But you're just
you're
chill.
easy. It's like you've smoked up and you're chilling.
Yeah, just
That's where you
chilling.
get the name Blase.
You know, you're just chilling. Everybody's running. Yeah.
Bro, trust me,
Yeah.
Blase comes from the real Blase.
Yes! Mully Bonte. Yes!
Lucius, Blue Cheap Records. This is a Roma Side production.
Hip hop muchinyanja, yet still we keeping it blase. Put it on heavy rotation, Mr. DJ. Ono wakame dine wa mumayani, atini gatini ze muchizo kujale. Dine chape guy wapa easy, but everybody really wanna be me. Rats, TN Ayo. Their name is Pompi, label it Bravo. You know you love it, so press rewind. They be like, mama oneka fully shine, true. My life is as good as it seems. What am I to do in my sleep when I'm living a dream? Boy, I'm on a top beat, succeeding sharply till every combi is like Abalea Pompi. Kawala la Sindine, that's the I make an honest living, dollar for every listen. Soli Pirani Mazali, pay admission, Dine Chikari, the one, no second guessing. Yet still we keeping it blase. Put it on heavy rotation, Mr. DJ. Everybody really wanna be nickname Lucius, rap name NOS, voice so focused, real to the fans, but it to a hater, still doing favors, I cannot stop.
That's the only time people are chilled.
Relax.
Just, it's okay, man. Just do
Relax.
you, man.
Just do you, homie. Yeah. So
that's the first song you the next video you recorded after Bring the Bass.
yes.
Blase.
Yes, yeah.
Did you record another one?
I recorded another one. So while I was here, I thought, no, let me just sort of solidify in people's mind. I'm a Zambian, so even Blase. That's why I even rapped in. That was the first song I think I rapped in my local language. Yeah, and then I did another one called Hustling. Both did like amazing.
So you're here
But
and you're back in school.
these were in holidays. So
Yes,
I came back,
yeah.
holiday, did Blase, launched it, but I would go back to SA
I get.
and go back to university.
Yeah. So
I
now,
came back, did Hustling, and then went back to SA. Yeah.
so now when you come back the third time, or not the third time, when you come back this time, you're born again.
I'm born again, and I had graduated at
Okay.
that time. Yeah. So came back born again, and yeah, at that time I was trying to find myself in the. So I knew I'm born again. I know I've given my life to Christ, but now I was trying to find a church.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see myself fitting in a lot of the Orthodox settings because I wouldn't say I wouldn't consider myself religious.
I get it. No, I understand.
I wouldn't consider myself religious, which is why, even in the beginning, that perspective of looking at things sort of ruffled a few, quite some feathers.
Yeah, because you're questioning.
Because I'm
But
questioning.
now you're questioning on the basis of the word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't have a problem with but I mean, I always used to say, like, look, educate my ignorance, but according to the word, this is what I understand. So, but I would say sometimes, unfortunately, in the church, questioning is not encouraged very much.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, we've done this. This is how we do it. Don't think you are the smart one.
Yeah. This is how we do it here.
This is how we do it.
Yeah.
We can't have set these things up out of foolishness. We know why we've set them up this way. So, yeah, I was trying to now find myself in a church. So I was sort of like church hopping now.
Okay.
I'd visit this church.
And have you told your parents?
Yeah, my parents know.
What's their reaction?
No, they're happy. They're very happy. Happy for me. Yeah. So yeah. Church hopping, and then I found there's a pastor. He's a friend of mine, Pastor Mpangwe. Pastor Mpangwe.
Shout out Pastor Mpangwe.
Shout out Pastor Mpangwe.
Mount Zion.
At the time, we used to call him Pee Wee.
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ Pee Wee.
He was a DJ.
He was a DJ, and I just thought he was like, this is just a cool guy. He was cool. He was a producer. I just thought it was cool. So I was very surprised to find out that he's a Christian. I'm like, oh, wow, like, what church do you go to? So he told me, I go to a church called Mount Zion. So yeah, he invited me to church. I went there and I was at home. I thought that this is home. Yeah, this is home. So yeah, I've been at Mount Zion since till today. I'm still in Mount Zion. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now, when did you announce to the public? In Kenya or in South Africa or in?
When did I announce to the public?
Yeah.
God did it for me. I didn't announce to the public. So